Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm filming an updated full face of Rare Beauty. They've recently launched some new things, which gives me the perfect excuse to film this. I'm also really excited to see what an updated full face of Rare looks like, and I hope you are as well. So before we get into it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. I got my roots touched up today, so my scalp looks irritated, but it's just hair dye. So I'm going to be starting off with their primers. They have a blurring one as well as an illuminating primer. I think I'm going to mix both, not together, but just place them in certain areas. So I'm starting off with the blurring primer, and I'm going to take that in the center of my face. So on my forehead, my cheekies right here, my nose, and my chin. This primer is really nice. It feels super silky and it does a good blurring job, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I'm not huge on primers unless if they do something miraculous to my makeup and make such a huge difference. I would say the illuminating one is a bit more loved by me because it kind of acts like a glow booster as well. So I'm going to be adding the illuminating one on the high points of my face. Priming is kind of an afterthought for me. What really matters to me is a really nice hydrated base, and I usually get that from my skincare, and I don't really rely on a primer to do that. So I tend to always jump right into foundation. Today I'm going to be using the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. I picked up another shade just because the one I was using in the summer is a bit too dark, obviously. I'm not huge on their foundation. I find that it doesn't collaborate with my skin very well. It can look really great some days and others really bad. On the days that it looked bad, I thought it was because I forgot to shake it or something, but it's not. It just reacts differently with my skin every day, it feels. But I do really enjoy the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. So I picked up the shade 14W and I had the shade 20W previously. So I'm going to custom make my own shade. This one's a bit light for me at the moment, but I'll show you what it looks like against my skin tone here. Oh, it might not even be that light. I'm just delusional. I would say that's a good color match. I'm going to try this new brush. This brand sent me a few of their brushes and they look really nice. This is a BK Beauty 101 brush. I personally always love going in with a brush. I find that I just do a better job. When I rub it in with my fingers, I feel like it always tends to look patchy and I just don't like the sensation in my fingers. So I just always opt for a brush. This tinted moisturizer is really nice. It offers quite a bit of coverage for a tinted moisturizer. It also diffuses the skin really nicely, so it softens it up, but ultimately my skin always looks like my skin. It's very seamless and it adds a little bit of a glow. So moving on, I'm going to be trying out one of their newer products. This is the Under Eye Brightener. I picked up the shade Light Medium and it looks like this. So it has the flat bottom, which I appreciate, so it's not going to roll around your desk all the time, but it looks like this. The applicator is metal and it kind of has ridges to catch some product, and I feel like it's going to be really nice and cooling. Yeah, that feels nice. I feel like it kind of picks up product weird, but I mean, it's applying a good amount. And this isn't a concealer, this is an eye brightener, so it's not going to offer much coverage. It's just going to really like brighten your under eyes and make them look more awake. If you're familiar with the Fenty Beauty eye brightener, I'm expecting that kind of thing with this. So I'm going to blend it out with my finger, and I'm taking it up into my inner corner here where I have some blue tones. Just want to brighten it up, and it looks like a nice peachy orangey color, so I feel like it's going to do a good job at color correcting my under eyes at the same time. I made a little oopsies and I completely forgot to pick up another concealer. I thought I had one, but I remember I decluttered it because it was a bit expired. So this is going to be it for my under eyes, which I think in retrospect is going to be good, so we can see how this one wears without something on top of it. Which, since I went in with, I forgot I cut garlic and I'm stinging my under eyes. I was saying, since I went in with the tinted moisturizer, I feel like this is going to add the perfect coverage level. That looks really nice. I fear that it might be a little bit too hydrating. I feel like it might move around, but it does look really nice upon first application here. Yeah, I feel like that suits the tinted moisturizer. I'm just going to see if I can brighten this area right here. I like how it's a metal applicator. It feels really nice. I just wish it kind of applied the product better. Brief interruption here. I have since fallen in love with the eye brightener. It is wonderful. I filmed this video on December 21st before my break, but since then it's been the only thing I've been putting under my eyes. It suits anything I wear with my higher coverage foundations or when I'm not wearing any foundation at all. It just blends in and suits whatever look perfectly. It wears really well. It doesn't slip and slide once it's set. It doesn't crease on me. It wears very thinly and it's very seamless. Like you don't even see that it's there, but it adds quite a bit of coverage for an under eye brightener. And I've changed my mind on the applicator. It applies the perfect amount every time. You never over apply and it always looks flattering. Okay, I feel like that did a really great job at brightening up my under eyes. I don't even feel like I would want to go in with concealer at this point. So let's just jump in with their powder. I'm using the shade Light in their setting powder. And I'm going to take some on this dry sponge from Kosas. And I'm going to press that into my under eye lines right here, where I encounter some creasing, just due to my natural under eye creases right here. This powder is really nice. I feel like it does a really great job at setting. It slightly blurs and it doesn't completely take away all of the glow from your makeup. It does have some luminosity to it, which is really nice. I just don't really reach for loose powders that often anymore. I feel like I reach for pressed powders a lot more these days, but this one is a really, really nice one. I feel like that looks quite nice set. I'm just going to put my powder to the side for a moment. I'll revisit it in a bit. And I'm going to go straight in with their bronzer. I'm going to be using the shade Happy Soul. This is a really, really nice bronzing formula. I just wish the colors were a little bit more neutralized just for my personal taste, but they are really nice. They are very, very pigmented. A tiny bit of it goes a long way. If you're familiar with the Makeup by Mario sculpting sticks, I feel like this is a similar formula. It's just a bit less matte. I'm just going to start off with that, but I am looking at adding a bit more color to my skin. I'm feeling a little bit blank today. And I'm using my Moda blending fan brush. This one is really, really nice and easy to blend out. And it's quite pigmented, but it doesn't overwhelm your face. I don't know what's happening, but I just spotted the longest hair growing on my face right here. What are you? Okay. So now moving on to highlighters. They have the liquid ones, which I've had for quite a while. I think they came out with these initially, but they recently launched the powder highlights. I purchased the shades Enlighten and Exhilarate. I used Exhilarate the other day, so I think I'm going to give Enlighten a try. This is the one I'm going to be using today. I fear it might be a little icy for my taste, but you know, I wanted to try it anyways. I mean, I bought it. And this is Exhilarate, the shade that I've been using more. And I did this one dirty. I'm not gonna talk about it. And yes, I did this myself. I didn't drop it or anything. I just pressed my finger way too hard into the pan because I thought it was kind of like a creamy powdered product. It's not, it's a powder. Anyways, I'm going to take a little bit of this on my brush here. This is very intense. They're quite pigmented, but they don't look like a super pigmented highlight once they're on your cheeks. And I find this formula to be truly unique in a few ways because it is quite, I wouldn't say glittery because it's very fine. It's glimmery and shimmery. So it has a quality I usually do not like, but it's quite flattering once it's on your skin. Like it doesn't enhance texture like a lot of glittery or shimmery highlighting powders do. It truly does add like a glass glow effect. And another quality that I usually dislike in powder highlights is that they're super intense. And this one is, don't get me wrong, but it has such a translucency to it that I find to be really, really pretty. And I've been reaching for them quite a bit. Compared to my favorite highlighters, I don't know if this really compares. I don't know if this is a favorite. It's just kind of been surprising me because it has such a unique texture. But we'll see. It's still very brand new. Who knows what can happen. With a little bit of time, we might become best friends. I think it is very important to buff this into your skin really, really well so it looks as flattering as possible. And while I'm here, I'm just going to add a bit in my inner corners. This is such a pretty color to highlight in there. It's so drastic. So there we are with that. So now moving on to blush, they have two formulas out right now. So they have these, cutie little melting blushes, which I adore. I have 3 shades. I'll just give them a swatch, why not? So I have Nearly Rose, Nearly Neutral, and Nearly Apricot. My most used is the shade Nearly Neutral. It's a really cute color. This is a unique formula as well. You can truly feel it melting once you start to swatch it. It's really cool. It feels like a powder, then it melts, and then it resets like a powder on your cheeks, so it has great longevity. Those used to be my favorite, but over the course of 2022, the liquid blushes became a huge favorite of mine, just because I actually got shades I use and love. And today I think I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of the liquid highlight. So like the melting ones, I'm going to swatch every shade that I have in my collection. I've done quite a few swatches. So over here we have the shade Truth, then we have Happy, Hope, Encourage, and then Believe. And down over here, I mixed some custom colors with Truth. So I mixed it in with all 3 shades of the highlighters. So this one over here is with the shade Flaunt, this is Outshine, and this one over here is Enlighten. So the shade that's mixed in with Outshine is a bit too coppery for me. I really like the color it turns when I mixed it with Enlighten or Flaunt. It's really interesting to see how much the colors change when they're mixed with the different highlighters. I don't know which one I like more. I really like how this is a rose goldy color, and this is such a drastic kind of cool pink color. I feel like I'm waving odd. I'm really drawn to this one, but I feel like I've been using a lot of these kind of tones, so I think I'm going to go for the rustier version. And I think the last time I did a full face of Rare Beauty, I did something really pink and soft. So here's what I did. I added a dot of the color, and same thing with the highlighter. Again, I'm using Truth and Flaunt. And that's my favorite way to apply the blushes. They can be very pigmented, so I always add a dot in the palm of my hand just because it cups the brush better, and it's really warm in here. So it melts it nicely into the bristles, coats the brush evenly, and then I go in. Ooh, that's really cute. I don't think I've used the shade Truth yet. It's so fun to experiment with liquid products. I highly recommend you try it. And you can see like there's so many different options. It's kind of overwhelming, but all exciting at the same time. So now I'm going to revisit my powder just to set the center of my face to blur it out a little bit and make sure it's not going to budge. And I'm setting with this Balm 125 brush from Royal and Langnickel. And I really love this powder because it has this little door that slides so it doesn't get so messy. Really appreciate that. I love Rare Beauty's packaging. A lot of the products have so much thought put into them and they're very functional. And I love how on most of the round products there's a divot so it never rolls off your desk when you're getting ready. Very nice, especially if you can get easily irritable like me. Now for my brows, I'm going to go in with a brow pencil. This one is from Melt Cosmetics. They do offer an eyebrow pencil. I just don't really like it. I feel like the size of the product is way too big to get a controlled amount, and I found the formula itself to be way too soft, so I applied way too much through my brows. I just did not get along with it. So that's why I'm subbing for this product instead. I did purchase the Auburn brow powder because this is a product I do really enjoy, which I'll go in with in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a, oh, I almost dropped it. This is a really fun product. On the back here, not many know of this, but there's a little tool here. It's kind of incognito, but you get a little angled brush and it goes further than that. If you pull it off, there's a little spoolie and it's so cute. So you can really get in there. It always feels like a little spy tool. I feel like I had a toy like this when I was a kid. One little critique though, I find that this brush is a bit thick for my liking. I wish it was skinnier, just so I could create fine hair-like strokes with it. Just going to lightly run some of this through my brows. And this powder is really interesting. It feels waxy, kind of like a putty. If you really squish your finger in there, you can see it makes like a little indentation. So it really adheres to the skin under your brows as well as your brow hairs, which is nice. I'm now just going to run some clear brow gel through my brows. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix. So while I'm doing this, please enjoy the brow intermission. I hope you enjoyed the brow intermission. I'm now going to prime my lids, and they have this really amazing eye primer. It's one of my favorites. Fenty Beauty is still my number one, but this is a close number two. And I really enjoy this one because it does offer some coverage. So if you have little veins you want to correct, it does a great job at that. And this is also amazing if you want to do colorful eyeshadow looks. It brightens up your lid really beautifully. And if you have a deeper skin tone, you can also make this kind of thing work for you. You would just put it onto your lid right here and maybe add a dot of your concealer right here and blend that together to create kind of an ombre effect. But you still get to amplify colorful eyeshadows onto your lids. So for my eyes, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do because their eyeshadows are not really my favorite. I don't like their eyeshadow palettes. I don't like the color stories or the formula much. The cream shadows are nice, but they're not colors I gravitate towards. I find them all to be very pinky, which is fine if that's like your personal taste. I just always tend to forget about them. So I thought today it'd be fun to kind of experiment with the blush I went in with to add a bit of color, and then maybe I would layer one of the new highlighters on my lid to see what that looks like, because I haven't yet put them on my lids and I feel like they'd make really pretty toppers. So I'm going to take a tiny amount of this blush, and I'm going to take this BK Beauty 202 brush. It looks like a really nice blending one. But first I'm going to blend that out just so I get a tiny amount of this. I'm just going to add that on the outskirts. I didn't really think this through, but it would have been nice to put the blush higher up here and then blend this into my eye. That would have been really nice too. And I'm going to be using the shade Exhilarate on my lid. So I'm taking it with my finger. I'm going to apply it in the center first because that's where I want the most. It makes my lids look really healthy. And I think just for fun, I'm going to add Enlighten as well, just near my lashes in the center. I did end up purchasing another one of their liquid liners. I remember trying this when the brand first launched, and it didn't wear really well on my eyes, but I wanted to give it another shot. I forgot how big the brush is, so I don't really like that, but I do enjoy that it's a brush instead of like a felt tip. Yeah, still not a favorite of mine. Found that the actual product dried out by the time I could like finish my stroke, so it didn't offer me perfect strokes really. I don't like how chubby the brush is. I feel like it gave me a little bit more trouble than it needed to. But now it's time to move on to one of my top favorite products from Rare Beauty, and that is the mascara. I adore this one. It offers so much. It's very quick to apply. It goes through your lashes like nothing, and it weighs nothing as well, so it doesn't weigh the curl of your lashes, and it's also super volumizing. This has been one of my top favorite mascaras ever since it came out. It still feels kind of new to me, although I think it's a year old now. It just feels so special to me, so I think that's why it still feels new. So now moving on to lips, they offer quite a few formulas. So they have a tinted lip balm, which I don't have any of the colors. I remember me not liking the taste of them when they were on my lips, but I do have two shades in the matte lip creams. This is for Rare Beauty's Impact Fund. It's the shade Limitless. I haven't tried it on, so I'm just gonna quickly swatch it. I want to see what it looks like. It's a really nice rusty color. Ooh, that's quite nice. I don't think it's the color for me today. I just wanted to see what it looked like. These are really nice. They give you that really softened lip color, but with a lot of pigment. They're super silky feeling. I'm just gonna leave this on for a second. I'm kind of digging it. They also have the glossy lip balms, which are some of my favorites. They're super hydrating and they offer a cute little tint. I have Nearly Neutral, Nearly Rose, and Nearly Apricot, just like the melting blushes. And their newest lip products are the Kind Words matte lipsticks, which I adore. These are my 5 favorites. So over here is Bold, then we have Humble, Gifted, which is my #1 favorite, and I might be going in with it today. Then we have Wise and Strong, which is such a beautiful color. Yeah, I feel like Gifted is just going with this blush a little too perfectly. And another thing I love about the Kind Words lipsticks is that they have corresponding lip liners. They have such a beautiful range of colors. I highly recommend you guys checking it out. I'm kind of tempted to see what the shade Strong would look like with Gifted Might be fun to do something a bit more bold. I think that would look lovely. I say this almost every time I work with a Rare Beauty product. I love how the names are also positive. And my favorite way to blend the lip liner is just by doing this movement. Makes it perfect. And I really enjoy this packaging because it's a retractable lip liner, so you don't need a sharpener, but it does have a little sharpener just in case if you want to get a more precise edge with your liner. So now I'm going to take the shade Gifted in the lipstick. Let's see how this looks. Ooh. Now who's craving a chocolate kiss? There you go. Oh my god, that reminds me. One time I had a little chocolate kiss in my pocket, and on a date I was like, hey, do you want a kiss? And then I pulled it out and he said no. I feel like I told you guys that story before, but I'm still insulted to this day. Not over it. Anyways, here is the look. I really enjoy this lip color. I feel so good. I always love a good, bold, dark brown lip. So nice. I think this turned out really nicely balanced with the natural skin and then the bolder elements. It just works. I love this lip color with my hair. Oh, really happy with this. The only thing I wouldn't recommend is the eyeliner. I find that this is more difficult to use than others. It just made my life a little harder than it needed it to. I find the brush too thick. I don't really enjoy the formula. I really enjoy how matte the finish of it is. I just find that it dries in the middle of your working time. It just kind of is a pain in the ass. So that's the only product I wouldn't recommend. Everything else, if it is sparking something within you, I would recommend it. But I did want to take a moment to talk about my top recommended products. First being the blushes. The liquid blushes are my top favorite from Rare Beauty. They're so highly pigmented, so one of these is going to last you a lifetime pretty much. You only need the tiniest amount of this, and it's a really great formula because it dries down on your cheeks and it lasts all day. It's one of the best liquid blushes on the market, if not the best in my opinion. I also highly recommend the melting blushes. These are a bit sheerer and they might be more workable compared to something like this. This might seem quite intimidating at first, but if you're newer to cream products, I would recommend these because they're quite sheer. They offer great pigment though, and they do set down. Some more of my top favorites are the lip products I went in with today. So the Kind Words lip liners are beautiful. They're super glidey and they offer a good barrier to your lips. Your lipsticks aren't going to bleed. The pigmentation of these are incredible and the shade range is beautiful. You get something really soft or super bold. Same with the Kind Words lipsticks. This has a really nice formula. They feel kind of plush and cloud-like on your lips. They don't feel heavy whatsoever. They have this gorgeous matte texture and they're so pigmented, but they feel really lightweight and hydrating on your lips. Highly recommend checking those out. Another one of my top faves is the mascara. As you probably have gathered over the year of me raving about this. Another favorite is the bronzing stick. Really easy to use, the pigmentation is awesome, and I would say it's quite user-friendly. And the last favorite of mine is the eyeshadow primer. It works really well. It's kind of boring, but it just works. And those are my top recommended from the brand. So if you have similar tastes to me, I think you're going to adore those. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a like. It would help me out so very much. I'll make sure to link everything I used in the description down below, so feel free to check that out. I appreciate you all for being here and watching my videos. It means so much to me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!